Hi, guys. Welcome back. We are going to be starting week 5. I'm going to go through some of the activities just so there's a few of them. There might be some questions. So I'm just going to briefly kind of go over all of the information in some of these exercises. Mostly what we're going to be focusing on for this week is we're furthering the conversation of avenues to learning because last week we were talking about kind of the differences between online classes, going to face-to-face classes, and some of the issues with that, and doing some practice exercises about how you would deal with certain scenarios in an online class. And then this week, we're kind of going more into talking about learning preferences, collaborating, such as group work, which you've already had an experience with, and you can use that experience to reflect on when you're doing this assignment. And then we're going to be taking a really cool assessment that's called the Student Success Profile, which we've been doing now with the College Life and Strategies classes for about a year. And the Career Center on campus is actually the one that set this up for us. And it's one of the assessments that students can go into the Career Center and actually take. But you guys get to basically take this through our class. And some people really find this assessment useful because it's a really good way to look at certain ways that you deal with situations, and it gives you a lot of feedback on it if you go through all of your results and really read through it. And sometimes people see some things that they don't necessarily like, but it's things that they can learn from because they see by the way that they answered certain questions that the way that their feedback comes back to them, it kind of gives them a little bit more insight into their behavior, certain patterns of things that you do, certain ways that you deal with situations. And it's always valuable to take that information, internalize some of it, and actually be able to use it to not only further your educational experience, but it's good for life experience as well. So a lot of students really like taking this assessment. A few people have not cared for it very much because maybe they've already taken an assessment similar, they already kind of know results from something similar that they've taken before, or sometimes some people don't agree with the results that they get. And that's okay because that does happen sometimes. The way that the questions are set up, it's not perfect, but a lot of people do really like taking this assessment that we're going to be doing this week. So the first thing that you're going to be doing, you're reading over using your learning preferences, and it goes over some good information because there is a small assessment that we take that has to do with learning preferences. Most of you know your learning preferences. Maybe you don't know a name for it, but you kind of know the way that you prefer to learn. Maybe you do better when you sit in a class and you can listen to information because you take it in better than you do if you just have to read it off of a board. And then some people, the opposite spectrum of that, they do much better when they can read information. So they like to be in a class when there's a PowerPoint or some kind of information that they can read because they can remember information better that way. And so everybody kind of has their own learning preferences, and most people have more than one. And so it's really good to actually learn where your strengths are in your learning preferences. And so as you're reading through this, you're going to learn about the VARC learning style assessment, which is the small assessment that you're going to take that goes with this. But complete this reading first before you take the assessment so you kind of understand what it is that you're going to be doing and the different kind of learning preferences that there are, because you'll probably already be able to tell that some of these reflect how you actually prefer to learn just by reading through this. So as you're doing this reading, it's going to go over some other things like study environments, things like that are helpful to students to learn better ways to find a good study environment for you. So that way you can actually get more work done. You have less distractions. So there's some tips and things here. And then this reflection right here, I don't ask you to do this for points, but I do ask you that after you do this reading, you may want to just kind of answer these questions, even if you just answer them out loud, or if you have a notebook that you're kind of taking down information in this class, you might want to just answer these questions just for you, just to kind of give yourself a moment to reflect on this information. So we're going to go to the first exercise that you're going to be doing here. Wait for this all to load. Okay, my internet might be going kind of slow. So the first activity that you're going to do that has to do with learning preferences is the VARC learning style questionnaire. So what you're going to do is you're going to click on this link. It should open up a new window for you, and then you can basically log in and take the questionnaire. It's not super long, and I do have to just say that when you're taking the questionnaire, every single question, it's going to have multiple answers that you can choose. you may find that many of the answers for each of the sections apply to you, and you can pick as many of them as you want. And then you're going to find sometimes in some sections that none of them apply to you. And if that's the case, then you don't answer any of them. So you want to be thorough with it. If more than one of the answers for a certain section does apply to you, choose all of them that do apply to you. And then if none apply to you, you basically leave that section blank and you don't answer that question if none of the answers actually apply to you and how you like to learn, basically. So after you complete the VARC learning style assessment, you should get a page that basically at the very end, it's going to tell you what your results are. And it's going to tell you in those 4 different modalities where you have read, write, oral, kinesthetic, and then I'm missing one because I can't think of it off the top of my head, but you're going to have the 4 modality sections, and it's going to have a score under each one of them. And obviously, wherever your score is the highest, those are going to be basically based off of how you answer. That is going to be your strengths, your learning preferences that you do best in. And it's good to know this information because when it comes time for studying, when it comes time for just being in a classroom even and taking notes, things like that, it's really good to actually know what your learning preferences are because you can actually shape a lot of how you learn yourself by knowing where your strengths are. So after you get your results, you're basically going to you have some questions here that you can kind of read through. And then you're going to basically be answering this based off of the scores that you got on your VARC learning style assessment. So I do have some specifics there. You do want to kind of answer these because you're going to use the information and how you answer these questions right here to basically write your paragraph that you're going to be writing for this assignment. And it's going to have a text entry box, or you should be able to, yes, you can do it on a Microsoft Word document and upload it as well as you prefer. So just read through the directions there, answer this information, and then use that to answer this when you are completing this assignment, and then submit it. And then we are going to go to the next one when all of it loads up here. And then we go over a section of collaboration and diversity, which has a lot to do with like group work, being able to work with other people, whether it be in the workplace, whether it be at school. And then after you read through that, you're going to come to the section called the individual. Now, after you read this section on this activity, this is the one that I believe I'm asking something a little different that we haven't really had to do for any of the other assignments. So after you read that section on the individual, you're going to have these reflection and discussion questions to answer. So it's going to be a text entry box, or you can do it on, I believe it might, oh, I'm so sorry. It's a discussion post. I thought it was a text entry box, but this one's a discussion post. So basically you'll click to reply to the discussion, and then you're going to answer these questions. So this assignment is worth 10 points, but part of the assignment is after you have answered and you've completed this, you need to go through all of the discussion posts from your fellow classmates, and you need to choose one that you want to respond to. I don't do this very often. I only do it a couple of times because in some online classes, professors want you to reply to other students' discussion posts to kind of get a discussion going. So part of your points, 4 points out of the full 10 points for the assignment, is based off of you replying to one of your fellow classmates. And basically what you're wanting to do is, as you're reading through some of their reflections and their discussion posts, you want to maybe you can share some of your thoughts, or if you've had experiences with what they are describing, that you can basically reply to them and kind of give them your experience. There's a lot of different ways that you can answer the discussion post. So just read through here where it says, just make sure that you're writing 3 to 5 full sentences. You're actually writing a discussion, not just writing one word. You need to actually write a discussion reply to one of your fellow classmates. So make sure after you answer the discussion post with your answers, go through some of the other answers that your fellow classmates have done, and you need to reply to one of them. And that will complete the full assignment. So this is the only one that's kind of a little bit different because I don't always have students required that you have to reply to somebody else's discussion post, but this one you will. Okay, so that was the one I just kind of want to mainly go through just to make sure that you all understood that there is kind of a second part to that, and it's not just you replying to that discussion post. And then we're going to go into a section about collaborating as you read through that. And then you're going to have a reflection and discussion. That one, you're not going to have to do a reply to another student. You're just basically going to answer the reflection and discussion questions after you read over the collaborating section. And then here is where you do the assessment that I was talking about that we offer through the Career Center, but that we do in the College Life and Strategies class. And it's called the Student Success Profile. It does take about 30 minutes. So just make sure that when you get to where you're going to sit down and take the Student Success Profile, that you give yourself enough time to do it. You're going to want to answer the questions the best to your ability, and you want to try to answer all the questions. Some of the questions are kind of odd, but just try to answer them to the best of your ability, because the more that you answer, if you leave too many of them blank, it may not give you as accurate of results. So even if the questions are kind of weird, still try to answer them the best that you can. And once you complete the assessment, you should get a results page that is going to show you your overall growth mindset results. And what you're going to want to do just for this assignment folder is you're going to want to take a screenshot of your results page. So you're just basically taking that snapshot photo of your laptop or your phone or whatever it is that you took it on, where it's showing the page that shows your results with, like, it'll say like growth mindset. It has a lot of different areas, but basically I just want the screenshot that probably it should show your name up at the top, and then it'll show like that very first page of your results, just so I see that you took the student success profile, you completed it, and you got a results page. So that's what you're uploading here for this assignment, is the screenshot for that. And then you're going to have a reflection assignment, but it's going to be in a different folder. So all you're uploading right here to this activity is the screenshot of your results page after you take the student success profile. So you'll click on that link here, and that will take you to the student success profile. If you have never set up a Vita Navis account with any of your other classes, because there's other assessments that other classes take, and you may have at one point in time already set up an account. But if you never have, you just basically click to where you can like make an account. It's just a free account. You'll fill in the information, and then it'll basically let you into the student success profile for you to start taking it. So you will have to make an account if you've never made one before in any of your other classes for any of the other assessments that they have on the Vita Navis website. So just to make you aware of that. So screenshot here, and then you'll have the one other assignment that goes with this, which is the reflection assignment. So let me wait for this all to load again, and then we'll just kind of look at that real quick, and then we will be done. So after you have uploaded your screenshot of your results page here, on this activity, when you click on this, it's more of a reflection of you need to read through all of your results on the results page of your student success profile. Try to understand it. It's going to have a lot of good information. Some of it's going to be kind of, it might seem a little strange to you, but it's going to have a lot of good information. So read through all of your results before you complete this reflection exercise. And so what you're going to see is there's actually a link for a Microsoft Word document. When you click on this link, it's going to have several questions where it's asking you to reflect on the results that you got on your student success profile. So there is, on the very last page of it, there's a survey as well. But you do not need to complete the survey page. I did that in the other classes because it was set up a little bit different. But now that we're using this new resource, you basically just need to do the reflective exercise where you're answering the questions. And then on the very last page where you see the survey, you don't need to worry about the survey. So once you complete that, you can basically upload this Microsoft Word document onto your laptop, and then you would be able to just type your answers directly into that Microsoft Word document, save it, and then just upload it as a Microsoft Word document here. If for some reason you can't save it or whatever the case may be, and you have all of the questions and you decide you want to use the text entry box instead and just type in your answers, that's fine too. So just whichever way works easiest for you. And then that is it basically. So you're going to have a lot of assignments that are doing a lot of reflection on learning preferences, collaborating, diversity, and then some information about you as an individual, and then completing this student success profile. So you kind of have two assessments. You have the learning preferences, the VARC learning style preferences, and then you have this student success profile that we're doing this week. And they do have a lot of good information. So just be open-minded, take the assessments, take the information from it that is going to be useful to you, and maybe every single part of it may not be perfect or you may not like it all of it. Some people don't, but take what information from it you can that will be beneficial to you, whether it be for sometimes some of these will also tell you some information about study habits that may be more useful for you based off of your learning preferences and just things like that. There's going to be a lot of information once you get your results pages for both of those. So other than that, that's pretty much all we're doing for this week. If you have any questions, just email me. And then just as a reminder, if there's still some assignments that you haven't submitted, you have some assignments maybe that are missing, just make sure that you're trying to get those turned in whenever possible, because we're kind of getting to that point where the very last drop date is going to be coming up, where if someone is not doing very well in this class and they don't think that they can get caught up, there's only going to be one more opportunity to drop this class if you decide that you will not be able to get caught up. So right now, I'm just kind of throwing that reminder out there that if you want to try to get some of your late assignments turned in, if you have some, go ahead and work on those. Just make sure you do whatever reading that comes first before you do those assignments, so you're not going to lose too many points on top of your late deduction that you would get from that turning it in late. So just that little friendly reminder, so you guys kind of think about that in the back of your mind if there's a few assignments you forgot about that maybe you didn't turn in, so that way you can at least get some points for them and try to, bring up your grade a little bit if you need it. All right. Well, that is it for this week, and I will see you guys next week.